In today's economy, more people than ever are looking to buy and sell businesses. But how do you do it? Welcome to the Deal Board, presented by Transworld Business Advisors. Straight talk about real deals and real people. Listen to stories, interviews, and expert advice to help your business sale, merger, or acquisition process. Now, here are your business exit experts, Andy and JT.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Deal Board. We have a great episode for you today. I am with JT Tatem, my co-host, and we are talking about deal killers.
The top 5 deal killers.
Yeah, because we saw an article, and, kind of shout out to Eric from Aprio, and he was in Inc. magazine and was talking about the 3 most common deal killers. And he says, how to make sure you don't ruin the dreams of selling your business. And I immediately looked at JT and I'm like, there's got to be more than 3.
We got a long list, but we'll keep it to 5 today.
Yeah. So we're here to tell you of some of what Eric thought they were, and then we're going to throw a couple more on there.
Good. And I like that it is, don't ruin your dreams of selling your business.
Yeah, because that's what it is, right? It's a dream of selling your business.
You've built it up to this point. Let's get you the best ROI you can get you. So, all right. Well,
but
good.
I agree with his number one. Do you?
You do. You guys have been saying this on the Deal Board podcast for as long as I remember, and as long as we've been in the industry, it's you got to have good books and records. Yeah. And so, bad financials is Eric's number one. This is what's going to kill the deal. Bad financials, or we say it the other way, you need good books and records. Yeah,
you do need good books and records, and there's really no excuse for it anymore. I mean, there's 3 ways that you should have good books and records. Number 1, you should have a good CPA.
Right.
I mean, let's start there, that you should have a CPA that is helping you keep good books and records. And number 2 is you should absolutely have some sort of computerized system at this point in your business.
Yeah, books and records, they don't count if it's still the general ledger written in pencil and receipts are in a box.
No.
That's not going to work.
If you're in a restaurant, you should have a point of sale system.
Right.
If everything should be point of sale system these days.
And everything should get run through the point of sale system.
Yeah,
that's
so
the other
that
piece.
was number 3.
Right.
I mean, there shouldn't be cash anymore.
No.
Really, in most businesses. Funny, we were in training today and we were talking about, they asked me the question because we have 2 international folks, and they were asking me about the ability to use Bitcoin and Coinbase and other digital assets.
Right.
And I'm like, we haven't seen a ton of that yet in the daily use of businesses.
Right.
I know some businesses have done it as kind of a stunt.
Right.
But
it's not infiltrated yet.
No.
If that's the right
But
word
it will.
Oh, yeah, eventually. I mean, the more and more, as things loosen up, people would be doing it. But even then, you're still going to have to record it. And you got to be able to show that, right? I mean, if you look at where we are today in 2025 versus maybe 15 years ago,
right,
people were credit cards and half cash. And now, especially on the Main Street stuff, that's what we're talking about. When you get into these other businesses, then you need good books and records because you could have accounts receivable. You could have work in progress, and that's going to become a part of the negotiation. If you're in a manufacturing business or something that's service-based, that's not just I did the service and I got paid right away. So you
everybody
think
that. Yeah, I made the mistake, I guess, of starting this saying that all that counts is revenues and expenses. That's not what books and records adds up to. I mean, there is inventory. I mean, I know we have a family business. My brother has a family business, and they're running a small manufacturing business. And, unless the accountant or the bookkeeper understands how to make inventory adjustments when you're manufacturing something from raw goods, it's not that simple.
No. And that's going to enter into some of the equations on negotiation
Cost
later
of goods
on.
Sold, and, and it'll affect your bottom line in interim financials. We're recording this. We're about halfway through the year, and how many times do we ask for our sellers for
year to date
books, and they're not right?
No. or they don't even have them yet.
Right.
Well, I mean, you could still have people haven't filed their taxes for 2024 yet.
I mean,
and then they're not able to give you the year to date. But you need to be able to give that, because that clear picture is what the buyer needs to see. Past performance is, to a great degree, an indicator of future results. Okay, it's not a guarantee, but when they start thinking about their forecasting, when they take it to the bank to get funding, the bank's got to do a cash flow analysis. They need clear books and records to be able to do that stuff. Clear
and
picture.
even beyond that, I mean, there's so many things that you could do today to have good books and records and systems.
Right.
That we were talking to some businesses that have customer counts, and they talk about they have sensors at the door. And they know what their customer counts of people walking through the door and who doesn't buy.
Right.
I mean,
interesting.
Yeah, it's there's some really cool things going on.
There's some sophistication that's available today.
Right.
We had a liquor business for sale for doing $3.5 million in revenue, and he's got a customer loyalty program in a very simple POS. But
Right.
as we were showing it to a buyer, he was able to pull up and say, listen, I do three things from this. Number one is everybody goes in by name and number, phone
Right,
number,
sure.
or email, right? So when a customer comes in, if they say, what's your phone number? They put it in, Joe's name comes up, even if Joe hasn't been here for 6 months.
Right.
And they can say, hey, Joe, how's the family? Whatever. He's got little notes in there, whatever.
Right.
But he also can see what does Joe normally buy, could make a suggestive sell to him. And when it comes to inventory time, he could see when he pulls up his inventory based on the different products that he's buying, who buys those? So, for example, he had one client that comes in and buys 3 cases of wine every month, but for the last 2 months, she's been out of town. And so he sees that in his record and he goes, I'm not replacing. I don't need 3 cases now because she's not coming back for another 30 days.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, he's making data-driven decisions in that case because he's got good records. He's
Right.
got good financial stuff.
So really, at the end of the day, you should be audit ready. And I don't know about IRS kind of audit.
Right.
But at any time, and we've seen it where people unfortunately pass away suddenly, and now all of a sudden their family's left to sell their business and not being
and
able
they
to
have no idea what's going on inside of there.
So
Right,
having
right.
some sort of financial functioning system that can spit out good reports is very important.
And there's so many of them today, whether it's QuickBooks-driven stuff or Zoho. There's all kinds of online systems and platforms that people can be using. And they're also able to take a lot of their payments that way.
And there's companies that will help you,
Right.
including Exit Factor. Throw
Yes.
another,
No, that's true. You put an
shout out
exit
to them.
factor for plug in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, we had a $14 million trucking company. Great business. They do a lot of revenue. They got a good SDE, but their books are terrible.
Yeah.
Everything's an Excel spreadsheet, and they're looking to sell it for $14 million. And I'm like, a private equity person is going to come in here and laugh at this.
Right.
These need to be audited financials, and they fight you sometimes on it
Right.
as a seller. I don't want to spend the money to do that. You're getting $14 million. If it costs you $50,000 to get those books and records up to snuff, you really need to do that.
Well,
you're going to cost yourself the deal.
And at that level, every dollar of lost
That you don't
earnings
show, yes,
could cost you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
on the sell price.
Right.
That's right. So you want really good accuracy. And there's a lot of small business owners today that they do all their own accounting.
Right.
My spouse does it or my daughter does it, or that's fine, but they still need to then take that to the higher level CPA or professional in the financial side of things.
All right.
Yep.
Well, let's get through number 2 as
Good.
well, because that kind of rolls into it that your business has outgrown its people.
Right. It was good to have those people when you started, but now you have to be thinking about when you're going to sell it. The buyer is going to be looking at each of those people and saying, are they going to stick around, number one? Are they the right people? Especially when you get into these higher deals, Andy, where the private equity group or the family office comes in and they want to know who on that team is worthy, who's going to be able to stick around and help me with this transition besides the seller who's leaving.
Yeah, well, and if you're a seller and you think you want to end your career in any sort of immediate fashion, you better make sure that the knowledge isn't all in your head.
That's right.
Because otherwise you're sticking around for 2 or 3 years.
Right.
So getting the right people in place is really important.
You know, there's a great book that we run a lot of our own business by here called Traction.
Yes.
And that would be a beneficial read for you if you're a seller and you're considering somewhere down the road putting systems in place, but also putting the right people in the right positions.
Right.
So that when you do go make that transition down the road, the buyer can come in and go, okay, this thing's set up. It's got a structure there. It makes sense. And the other piece of it is a lot of times in some of these aging businesses where the baby boomer is leaving, he or she might have been surrounded by people that have been there for the last 20 years. Well, they may be thinking about retirement too.
And then you have a bunch of brain drain and IP that goes out the door.
Right. So thinking about it ahead of time and maybe considering bringing one or two people in to be brought along, interning or apprentice or whatever it is, to some of the people who have the institutional knowledge. That would be a good move to make before you get ready to come to market. Yeah.
All right. Well, those are good points, and let's take a quick break to do
because we have a listing of the week
and a deal of the week.
We'll be right back. Hey, Andy, do you know what time it is?
What time?
It's time for Deal of the Week.
Ring the bell.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. It is Deal of the Week, and I have Ryan Armstrong from Transworld Business Advisors of Phoenix, and you got a great deal that you just did.
Yeah, so this is a really unique deal. It's a long, really hard deal to sell. It's a little frame shop, but I've had it for a while. It's one of my original listings, and it was just in a really small town, really hard business to find a buyer that wanted to move there.
Right.
And we actually found a buyer that wanted to move the business. So they bought the business and moved it to a larger city. They merged it with one of their, it was a frame shop, so they merged it with a like an older furniture store.
Right.
So they did like antique furniture, and they wanted to offer a frame business with it. So they were able to merge the two, and seller was happy. She was able to retire. Buyer was super excited. He couldn't wait to get the product to his store.
Wow, that's great, because a lot of times our job is finding that needle in the haystack.
Yeah.
And this sounds like one we needed to do.
Yeah, this is one that I was like, this is going to be a really hard thing. And the buyer called, and he was 2 hours away, and he's like, I want to go look at the business. And we took him down there, and he was like, I'm in, I'm done. I've done my due diligence. Let's make this happen.
Wow, perfect. Well, Ryan, if anybody else wants to sell a frame shop or a tougher deal where they need to find the needle in the haystack, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, reach out on myself, 480-447-3504, or my email address, rarmstrong@tworld.com.
Great job. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Andy.
Hey, JT, do you know what time it is?
Money time?
Almost. It's time for listing of the week.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. It is Listing of the Week, and I am with Frank Curcio here from Transworld Business Advisors of New York. And Frank, you have a great listing. Tell us about it.
Yeah, this one just went up today, actually.
Nice.
It's a really nice boutique clothing shop.
Nice.
Up in the Hudson Valley. Really nice area. It's on a historic Main Street, within walking distance from mass transit,
Nice.
and has plenty of parking.
There you go.
Yeah. So they're doing like $300,000 on the top line and $65,000 in SDE, and we're asking $200,000.
200. Nice small deal.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to buy a business, get into business. This would be a good first business for someone, right?
Absolutely. Anybody with an eye for fashion. And again, it's one of those places where people like to go to and spend some time. It's really got a unique feature to it that can't disclose right now, but
Right. Otherwise, you'd know which business
you know
it
which
is.
one it is, but it is really
nice
cool.
small town. You're thinking, hey, your kids are graduating from college.
Right.
You know,
this is something that would be great to get out of the house and do something with, and spend a little time.
Right, nice little business.
Yeah.
So, Frank, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Just reach out to me at fcurcio@tworld.com, or you can call me at 845-288-4733.
Excellent. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Andy. Appreciate it.
All right, we're back.
And hey, we're back.
We're back, and we have a couple of more deal killers or reasons why your business won't sell. And technology has got to be number 3. And it is number 3 for Eric. And, we've seen so many businesses fall behind more than ever, right?
Right. Because it's so rapidly advancing the tech. And if you don't have any of it in place and you don't start putting something in place, it's almost like you're never going to catch up.
Yeah.
So you might not get it perfect, but you need to start thinking about scalability. How do I replace myself? How do I replace maybe some of our processes with the technology that can help prepare the business to be able to scale when the new guy or gal comes in?
Yeah, and if your teenager who's now 40 years old built your website back in 1980 something,
you might want to relook at that.
You might want to relook at that if he
right.
built out some spreadsheets that you're running your reporting on. It's really important. Technology is just gotten.
Well, the potential investor doesn't want to have to come in and put everything in play. If you've started putting certain things in play, that's less of an investment that they're going to have to make.
Right.
Because if they got to make all of that investment, they're going to want to take that off of the purchase price of the business.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the what net working capital thing, separate conversation. But yeah, if I got to do all that because you haven't done it, then the business is going to require more capital from me when I first take it over than if you have already put some of these pieces in play.
Yeah, some people actually like the fact when they come in that the business has been under-marketed or doesn't have the right systems in place, because that's an opportunity for them to take it to the next level.
Yeah, but the difference is I think that the person who owns the business now is familiar with the industry and the business and the trends. So when they put the tech in place, that familiarity makes it easier to implement. The new guy can do it, but he's coming in and having to learn both the business and put the tech in place at the same time. You just make his life a little bit easier. You'll make it worth more.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to number one, where we're talking about good books and records.
Yeah.
I mean, technology kind of is tracking everything. So tech is really important. But, Eric ended his article here.
With those three. Financials, number one. Did you outgrow your people, number two? And did you outgrow your tech?
Right.
But we think there's a few more that are
noteworthy. We think there's a couple more. At least a couple more. I mean, I think one of the big ones is reasons businesses don't sell is they don't know how to value their business.
It's not priced correctly.
No, it's not priced.
Yeah. I know in that last episode that we did, we talked about that
15%
delta there between what you listed for and what they sell for often. And if you don't get it priced right, does it sell or does it expire? And look, if you're bringing a business to market, it's because you intend on selling it.
Yeah.
So don't go through that 7 to 12 month period and then have nothing happen because you didn't have the value on it correct.
Yeah, if you don't have the and the terms, right? So you have to understand what the marketplace is. Hopefully you had, number one, good books and records, and you were able to go to a bank and get pre-qualified for an SBA loan, and we'll talk about this in a minute, your business partners in this transaction are helping you with that. But if you can't, because you have lousy books and records, or you have falling sales, or you have some other reason why you can't get pre-qualified with a bank, you're going to have to finance it yourself.
Oh, yes. And that's a key piece of the conversation. When you're an intermediary, you're going in, you're talking to that seller, you're probably going to have to carry some paper. You got it. That mental picture, because every seller says the same thing. I don't want to carry. I don't want to do any seller financing. Well, of course you don't. You want all the money up front, cash, and you can just walk away. But that's not how the game gets played.
It's not going to happen.
No.
It's most likely 80-something percent, 90-something percent of businesses have some sort of seller financing in place. And we're talking with SBA loans. Even the SBA bankers, the lenders, want some sort of participation from the sellers.
It's interesting because they want that seller to have some skin in the game, stick around, make it a smooth transition.
Right.
Remember, the bank or the SBA in that case is funding 80% of the deal because they're asking 10% from the equity of the buyer and 10% for the seller. The bank is still on the hook for the majority of this money. They want to make sure you're going to transfer this correctly so that the new guy is successful and he makes his payments. But you also, as the seller, there are some advantages to staying in the game in case something doesn't go the way it's supposed to go
we've
down
seen
the road.
Plenty of sellers, some sellers take it back.
That's right.
I would say 80-90% of the time,
it's rare.
Or it's rare.
It's rare.
But when they do have to step in, sometimes they get to sell their business again.
Yeah. And, pricing it right just brings it to market. We always say you don't want to price it so low that you leave money on the table. Right. That's not good for you as the seller.
Right.
And you don't want to price it so high that nobody calls.
Right.
And so finding that sweet spot and the accuracy of what the market is telling us, what have the comparables told us, what are the right multiples on your EBITDA or your STE, doing that, and you need someone who can help you navigate through that. It's not put a bunch of stickies on the wall, throw a dart, and whichever number we're closest to is what we should sell it for.
Well, speaking of people helping you through that,
Takes you to number 5.
takes
I
us
did that for
right
you
there.
on
You did
purpose.
that.
Yes,
you
I
just
did.
set me up. I really appreciate that. So, number 5, and I think this is the most important point. Again, selling a business is not an easy task.
It's a team sport.
It is a team sport. I like that. And you have to have the right team.
Right. And that team, we're talking about the deal team. So an intermediary and an advisor who can help you on the value part, the marketing part. That would also include someone who's going to be on the accounting peripheral. You probably need somebody on your legal team as a good legal advisor.
Yes.
And if you're a seller, the time to start thinking about what you're going to do with all that money when you get it is before you're sitting at the closing table.
Yes. So, you should have your financial advisor. You absolutely have to have a deal attorney. Not necessarily.
Stick on that point for a second. Go
not
ahead.
Necessarily
not necessarily a what?
Your brother-in-law.
No, or your brother's friend who's a civil law.
Right.
No, I don't want a person who's coming in here to fight.
Right.
That's what they do. He's a criminal defense attorney. He's going to cut my deal. No, he's not.
No.
We need someone who understands contract law, business law. That's what we're looking for.
And how to make deals.
That's right.
Because a lot of times it is a give and take. It's
interesting because sometimes you wind up with that attorney who wants to just prove he wants to earn every dollar, okay?
Right.
And so he's going to redline every agreement and he's going to dicker on every single point going back and forth. And sometimes you have to say to that attorney, listen, swim in your lane.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm protecting my client's interest. Well, your client's interest is to get his business sold.
Right.
And you're preventing that from happening because you're doing this on every
right.
single
And you're going to have your accountant, and your accountant's going to have to be available at that time.
That's right.
To help out. And that could be tough, in March, and it could be tough.
Right, it's tax time, and they can't get me the financials that I need right now to get to the SBA.
Again,
or whatever.
back to
no,
number
we need
one.
It.
But
right, that's right.
Well,
and and thinking about just how that process works, oftentimes, if the seller is going to be SBA pre-screened or pre-qualified to be able to offer the lending, then when the buyer comes in, as you get closer and closer to closing, the SBA is going to require more information. Like, I need last month's financials now.
Right.
We were just talking about this today at one of the sessions. So if you're set to close on the 24th and for some reason that rolls into the following month, they want new financials
They want another month.
because you just went into another month, right? So you just got to be able to have somebody on the team, on the accounting side, can get you access to the stuff really quick.
And lastly, you need the deal team.
Yeah.
You do.
And who's on that?
Your Transworld.
Yes, right.
Your Transworld associate.
And I think, that's just as important on the buyer side, Andy. We're concentrating a lot here on the sell side, but the buyer coming in, they're going to need someone on the financial advising side, on someone on the legal advising side as well.
Somebody knows who knows how to do due diligence.
That's correct, right? Because that's
it's
not
a little
ours.
different.
Yes, that's for you as the buyer to have someone who's kind of guiding you through that. We'll help provide all the information that you need to see, that the seller has provided to us from their accountant, from their attorney, et cetera, et cetera. But you're going to need somebody on your buy side who's helping you ask the right questions to get you the information to make an informed decision.
We are the grease on the wheels. We are getting the deal done. We are the gophers. We are tracking everybody down. We're the project managers of
You're
this.
You're the QB. That's it.
We're the quarterback of this deal.
Yes.
Tossing it into the end zone. Hopefully you don't have to dive for it, but we are
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you get a little dirty too. I mean, sometimes it's a mud game.
That's how you win the Super Bowls, baby.
It is, and and we're hoping everybody has the trophy at the end, and really, this is about. We started the conversation by saying the words "dream."
Yes, that's their selling. The selling
we
dream.
We are. Dream of selling and buying a business, because that's a dream as well for a lot of people. We're changing people's lives.
That's right. So put more money in that guy's pocket and being able to put more money in her pocket when she comes in later on.
Yep. So
make the dreams come true.
So all right.
Well, top five. Deal killers.
Deal killers.
How to avoid them. Yes.
Done. Great job.
Excellent. And we've already done Deal of the Week and Listing of the Week.
Yes.
So we'll see you next time on the Deal Board.
Thanks for tuning in to the show today. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends on social media. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcasting app. If you have questions, would like to appear, or have suggestions for topics for the show, get in contact with us through our website, thedealboardpodcast.com.